All right, hello and welcome back as we are getting ready for the third game of the day as we are going to have the Chicago Inferno taking on the Havana Highflyers. Already got to go ahead and say apologies that the beginning part of the stream was silence. Apparently, OBS did decide to not connect my audio correctly, and so it wasn't showing that. So, odd, as I'm also trying to make a lobby and it's giving me a black screen. So hopefully it'll fix that. I don't, that's a little confusing. Black screen making a lobby. So there we go. This time it'll work. And so I think we're going to be good. Let me send the info out to our teams and then we'll get them in as soon as we can. Looking at these teams on screen, you can see one of them is sitting at 7-1 in first place in the Prism League, while Havana are in ninth, sitting at 2-6. And then that one loss for Chicago came pretty recently, 2 weeks ago against Calgary, while it is a one-game losing streak for Havana on the other side. Moving over then to our weekly schedule, 3 of the 5 games down, 2 of them in Game 4, 1 a sweep. No Game 5s yet. We'll see if that changes tonight. I'd be a little surprised if this would be the game to change it, but it's always a possibility. As we can then move over to our standings, you can see Hanoi for now sitting up alone, but Chicago would pass them if they win. Lincoln then down there in third, and then a small jump down to New York and Calgary and Santa Carla, who are fighting Arcadia for the last playoff spot, and then it's the bottom 3 down below that. On your screen here, you can see the order in which our 5 teams have clinched, and there is still 1 spot left open, which will be decided by the last game tonight. Looking at our seeding possibilities then, well, first we'll start out with our scenarios. As you can see, Steinhatchee are locked into the play-in. Santa Carla are still fighting, but both of their other conditions have failed, and so they need that win to get through. Then here, or at least the 2 that Arcadia needed, or 2 of the 3 have been met, and so now they get in if Arcadia lose. Meanwhile, if Santa Carla lose. Meanwhile, because Arcadia didn't lose, Miami will not be making it through. Okay. It says unable to find server, so I'm going to assume I made an error. I'm going to quickly remake the lobby, and we'll get back into this. So, give me just one moment to do that. Okay. Cool. And we do have one of our teams in afterwards. And we can look at our seeding, though. As you can see, 1 spot finally locked in, as Lincoln are locked into third. Then 1 and 2 still between those 2 teams. Chicago, though, will get the first seed if they win. I'll still fall down to 2. Then 4, 5, 6, kind of a mess. With Arcadia being the team popping up as able to get 6. Santa Carla, meanwhile, only able to get 4 if they get the top if they get into the top 6, but if they don't, they'll end up in 8th. Meanwhile, a bit of chaos everywhere else as Arcadia can be 7-9, Miami will be 7 or 8, and Steinhatchee and Havana can both be 8-10. And so, plenty of variance all around, but we'll see where it ends up as we got 2 more games left to go in the season. And, of course, if Havana lose, they'll end up locked into 9th. If they win, they'll be 8th or 9th, depending on how much they win in terms of game diff, and then whether Santa Carla lose tonight. Moving down then to our stats, Hallow and Banks are the key players. And the averages are 5-1 in favor of Chicago, although somewhat rarely it is a 5-1 split, with the demos being the exception. So usually you see saves. This time, though, it's going to be demos favoring Havana, probably because of Red Guy, although Banks has a very high count himself. And then looking in at the individual players, it is 4 stats led for Hallow, as shot percentage and demos go to Wico, and then assists are tied between the 2. And then over on Havana, it's 4 also led for Banks, with shot percentage going to Mello and demos going to Red Guy. Of course, Red Guy not going to be here for this game either, and so I believe they're going to have Cloudsy stepping in as a 1-day. Hopefully, we get them in here soon, as we do see 2 of them in the call. We'll see again, hopefully, Uh, we'll get this one underway shortly. I think I have to predict Chicago. And especially considering the one day, I'm realistically just going to have to predict a 3-0 for Chicago. But I would like to see a closer game. Obviously, Havana will be playing next week. They're guaranteed to be in that play-in. But still, feels like they'd like this momentum. They're not playing for so much, but it just feels like it's still a game you want to win, especially against a team like Chicago. Like, you got to hold your head up if you don't get the win here because you just say, well, they're a good team. We were expected to lose. Whatever. But at the same time, if you can get the win, that feels huge. So, we'll see. As again, we are just waiting on one of our teams to get in. I can look at when I sent the code. I sent it at 8:30, and so they would have until 8:40 unless extended otherwise. As I just see, again, we're just waiting. We are still missing one on one of our teams. Hoping that we get them in, and then hoping we get that team in the lobby as well. Always would like to see the game get played. Fortunately, if it were to not happen, it would be in the direction that the series would likely go, given that it's Havana who are currently missing a player. But at the same time, I think everyone would like to get more stats. I think everyone would like to, again, it helps Chicago if they actually get the win in a series that is played. And so I think just with everything considered, we'd love to see this series happen. But at the very least, it wouldn't be the worst because it's a heavily one-sided matchup, and we'll see. Either way, though, we got 3 minutes left to go on that, unless I get messaged and we agree to push it. Either way, why don't we talk about our seeding a little bit more while we're here? As we can go down to our playoffs first. Again, top two, pretty simple. As Chicago get number one if they win, because they have that head-to-head. If they lose, then they will be tied with Lincoln instead, and they win that head-to-head. So it would be Hanoi 1, Chicago 2. And so basically, Chicago win their 1, they lose their 2, Hanoi will fill the other one. Then, of course, Lincoln are already locked in, that they're sitting at 3. And then we have kind of where the mess begins. As, by the way, I do think everyone's in, so I do think we're going to be getting this one started pretty soon. I'm just going to keep talking about this while we wait on that. New York control number 4. That they'll get number 4 if they win. If they lose, they will be either 4 or 5. Well, if they lose, they could be 4 if Santa Carla lose still. Or they could drop down lower. They could be 5. And I'm not sure. Do I have them listed under 6? I'm not sure how that could happen. Because the Chugs lost. So I don't think New York can be 6, actually. I'm pretty confident in that, and I believe because I summarized this in a Discord message earlier, and I don't believe I listed that. So I might just end up, as I leave this on screen, I might just, wait, but that feels wrong to do that. I don't know. We'll see where it ends up. Because, I guess, yeah, no, actually, yeah, I guess that would be where it is. It'll either... Whatever. Either way, I think they'll end up 4 or 5, probably, depending on how these games go. Calgary are just kind of waiting on them, that they can't be 4, because they can't have a better record than New York, and they lost to New York. So they're kind of hoping Santa Carla lose, so that they get 5. And then, if Santa Carla wins, they can drop to 6. And the only spot Arcadia could get into would be 6. As again, we do have everyone in calls. I'm not quite sure why they aren't in the lobby yet. Hopefully that happens soon. As we can then look to... As, again, we are just waiting. And I did send the info. And now we do have everyone in. Basically, this is kind of a mess. Arcadia beat Miami. But if Havana win... then that turns into a 3-way tie, which comes down to game diff, which Miami win, and then it comes down to if Havana have also beat Arcadia, that's how Arcadia can fall all the way to 9, And then looking at Santa Carla, if they get involved in the tie, that shuffles things up the other way. That Arcadia are 6, Miami fall down into 7, Santa Carla take 8, and Havana still fall 9. Okay, cool. That's where we're at, and we have a series. As this one is now underway, we're going to have Chicago on the blue side, Havana in orange. Early start here again. We have Cloudsy stepping in as a one-day replacing Red Guy in this series. Yeah, I mean, you really don't, Wiko, because obviously you aren't going to have a tie that comes down to game diff. But, and I'm sure he's not listening because he's playing. But, realistically, they don't need the game diff. But for a full season stat sheet, you'd love to see it be higher. This one's cleared out. Cloudsy off the post, bouncing out. Hallow will keep it up in the air. Banks already on it. Off the bar, looking for a follow. Mello gets there, but it's up high. Hallow now downfield again. Banks off the right wall. Cloudsy waiting under it, going for a catch. 50 over to the right side. Hallow now downfield, down into the corner, looking to stay behind it. Banks will pop it up in the air. Banks now following it up, chasing it downfield. Reset, blocked by Wiko, but Cloudsy's there. And after a full start of pressure, Havana get first blood. They are gonna play from in front in this series, as it has been all Highflyers to start out. And they're looking pretty good, getting that first goal on the board. Now, of course, a lot of time left to go, but we'll see. This one's off the sidewall, dropping down. Hallow around the outside, trying to stay with it. Will get a center, but Banks is already there. Banks now chasing this one. Another dunk. That'll keep things awkward. Zach over to the sidewall next. Hallow trying to get it downfield. It's over one. But now Banks gets it away in the end. Mello off the sidewall. Zach shot. Banks is there. He'll get it away. Now dropping down again. It's Hallow with the high clear. Banks trying to get it downfield. Bouncing down in the corner. Now popped up again. Wiko sending it down. Pinched down towards the corner. It'll recenter, but Zach falls just short of the read. And so it'll bounce out the other way. Now Cloudsy out off the corner again. Wiko to the back wall. Zach diving in, but he can't get a 50. And Havana breakout again. Now off the backboard. Cloudsy there, but it's Wiko again. Banks now down off the ceiling. Wiko still waiting with it. Rolled down the sideline. Banks trying to play it back out. Now Zach up in the air. Looking to drop it down. Hallow's there. 1-1. Chicago find their equalizer, as finally Hallow has an opportunity. And just like that, the Highflyer lead is erased. And this game is back to being even. We've still seen a lot of pressure out of Havana, though. I don't want to doubt that they could find another goal. And so we're going to see if Chicago stays sharp. That one's over. Hallow. Oh, no, that wasn't the right player, but it is Hallow on this one. Centered out, but Banks is there for the touch away. Banks now down the middle again. Wiko bringing it down, looking for a 50. It's up high off the backboard. Hallow jumping in next, but it's just popped downfield. Low boost on Banks will make things awkward as it's 50'd out high in the air. Wiko wins the challenge, but Mello will clear it out to the side. Now dropped in again. This will roll all the way back to the blue corner. Hallow trying to cut it off. Pretty even on the 50, but Wiko's there first. He'll get a double, and he'll knock it back down. So Chicago's starting to take this game over, or getting the majority of the push. That one is almost in, but it's just wide. A fast break 50 win, but it just steers wide of the net. And this one now is cleared away again. Bounced away by Banks. Mello trying to get to the sidewall, but he's bumped and turned around. Wiko now taking control, but it's Banks already on it. Under 90 seconds left to go. Still parity here in this first game. Next goal could be a winner, although, of course, still a lot of time on the clock if it comes soon. Mello trying to wait behind it, but Banks pretty careful, able to take his time and get that one out, as that is a bit of pinball. And it somehow stayed out. It bounced off Zach and then two different Havana players and then the crossbar, but it somehow didn't cross the line. And so we are still tied at 1. 45 seconds left to go. Banks wins a 50. Cloudsy the low shot. Wiko getting bumped, but Hallow dives in. Hallow now down the sideline. That'll force Banks back. Banks up the back wall, looking for a clear away. High towards the ceiling, now dropping back down. Zach will send it forward. Cloudsy down towards the corner again. It'll be Banks waiting on it, but won't get a touch. Will get a bump as Cloudsy finds Mello, and Mello finds the net. Hallow tries to pop it away, but he gets bumped. The pass is there, and the shot is true. Chicago get caught flat-footed. And it is a 2-1 Havana lead with 10 seconds left to go. Wiko now trying to play it forward. He'll follow it up to the backboard. Bouncing out. Zach is there. Demo sets it up. Not in for now. Hallow gets it up. Mello beats one. Cloudsy beats the next. Hallow left alone here trying to keep it alive, but it feels like it's just a hopeless effort as it finds the ground, and Havana take game 1. Chicago just too slow, not able to put their foot into this game as they'll get outshot 10-8. Actually, no, that's the wrong direction. They're going to outshoot them 10-8, but they just can't get those goals across the line. It just felt like Havana had more threatening pressure, and they had the pressure for the majority of that game. And so then, as the clock rolls down, it's one, I'd say, mistake, even if that's a little bit harsh. And Havana score on it. Of course, you can also point to Banks and his 6 saves, keeping them in that one. So, yeah, I mean, just feels like Chicago need to get more threat. They need to find more control in this series because so far, Havana have just looked good. It's now down off the ceiling again. Wiko already on it, played out off the back wall. Mello trying to catch it. Now Wiko doing it the other way. Banks off the left side. Hallow now waiting behind it. Pop forward and in. 15 seconds into the game. Hallow is on the board. And Chicago get first blood. Hallow just winning by speed there. Able to get back to it for a quick shot. And no one was able to react and get a touch of their own. And so now a much more comfortable position for the Inferno, as they're going to just be trying to hold a lead. Maybe a 2-goal lead as Wiko's there, but it's blocked off the bar by Mello. And Havana will hold on for now. Banks now up again. 50 down off the ceiling. Mello's racing in. He'll center it away, dropping down in front, but no one is there. Cloudsy off the corner again. Hallow up in the air. Banks waiting under it. Hallow shot, saved to the side by Banks. Banks now up again. Zach off back wall, looking for a read, but instead it's Cloudsy to get there. And so 1 minute gone, still holding with a 1-goal lead are Chicago. They've definitely been the more threatening team in this game, especially due to a complete lack of any pressure from Havana. But still plenty of time on the clock that if Chicago slip up somewhere, there definitely could be a window back into it. Maybe this could be that, but it just won't be as Hallow will end up with the ball. He'll get a big flick downfield. Cloudsy will block it up. Banks will need a touch, but he'll be there to get it. Now Zach over to the side again. Hallow catching it. Playing it forward, on the air dribble, reset down, looking for a 50, dropping down, it's off the post, it's in! 2-0 Chicago. Wiko holds it close, Zach is there to bang it home. And the Inferno will take, well, they'll double their lead here and get themselves a little bit of security. As we're still pretty early on into this game number 2. Wiko now so close to making it 3, but just clips off the post there. Zach not going to connect, but it buys time for Hallow to bang it the other way. Cloudsy now a clear right at Zach. Zach up early, down off the ceiling. Hallow trying to play it in. Zach catches it out to the side. Cloudsy now off the corner again, trying to bring it up. Now Hallow over to the right wall. Mello trying to wait as it's a double commit. Neither one gets a great touch. That's a good Goomba, but Weeko's still there. Weeko will center it. Mello trying to keep it from getting all the way, and he will succeed in doing so. Now bounce over to the corner, though. Weeko up in the air. Pass across. Banks is up. He'll get a clear out. Mello now downfield. Looking for a pass down. Cloudsy there. Won't quite connect on it. Now downfield again. Banks is turning. Looking for a catch. Weeko maybe could have pressured that harder, but he won't choose to do so. Zach now going to win a 50. Won't get the read. Weeko's up next. Off the ceiling, but that last touch won't do a lot. Hallow now off the backboard again. Banks will play to the side, but Hallow's there to force it back in. Cloudsy around the outside. Weeko trying to pinch it center. Now Mello down the sideline. Zach flick across. Hallow in the air. Rolling back down. Not going to be anything on that. Now Mello trying to clear it away again. Zach will get bumped off it. This one rolling. Mello has a shot, but Hallow's back in time. Dropping down again. Cloudsy around the outside. Weeko trying to play it away, but it's dumped back out. Cloudsy now on it next. Zach down the sideline. Mello already up, drops it back down. Now winning it in again. A pinch down into the corner. Banks pops it up towards the ceiling, but he won't get a clear. Zach keeps the pressure going. 75 seconds, and we're still holding the Chicago lead. That one will pinch just in front of the net, as well as Havana have not been able to get downfield really at all in this game. And so as the time winds down to the final minute here, we need to see a goal from Havana soon, and it's just not working so far. As Hallow will win another one forward. Cloudsy over to the right side. Banks will pick it up. They might need a goal on this attack. Banks has a chance, but it's right at Hallow. Cloudsy will recenter. Mello just a little bit too slow, and I think the pass is a little bit too high. He can't squeeze it in the corner. Chicago break out yet again. And with 20 seconds left to go, the Inferno will not give up a second game. They will fight back. They will equalize the series. And they will send it to game number 3, all tied up at 1 apiece. Of course, do need a couple more seconds to run off the clock, but they will do so. And Chicago will secure their win. That last shot falls a little bit short, but hey, didn't need to do too much more, and obviously doesn't change the result, as they'll outshoot them pretty comfortably, 16-4. So 4 times the shots, and it's a 2-goal shutout. So again, if you had a comment, you would say Chicago would probably like to be a little bit more efficient with their offense instead of getting 2 goals on 16 shots, but they didn't need to. Even though the shots weren't going in, they were just continuing their pressure, continuing to trap Havana back. And then they did enough to get that goal across the line, or 2 of them even, which of course pushed them to a win. So probably an opportunity there that if Chicago are going to continue to score as low as they do in that second game, Havana might have a chance if they can find more offense of their own. But the problem is, if Chicago are playing as offensively dominant as they were in that game, they might not get that offense. As Weeko's trying to clear it down, Banks is waiting on the line, popped up in the air. Hallow will get beat to it. Cloudsy now up, 51 forward, dropping back down again. Weeko now in the air, looking for a play downfield, trying for the 50, will get it out to the side. Mello now on it, off the left wall, it's past Zach. Mello downfield, off the backboard, Zach will pop it away. Hallow trying to jump in, but a bit of a misread, that'll open up a window. Weeko's able to close it with that save. Another one bounce back, and Mello will be the first to play it. Hallow trying to slow it down, but it's dunked away by Mello. Double out center, but Banks wasn't ready for it. Cloudsy will pick it up, but that was an opportunity that will not come to pass. Hallow tries to drop this one down. There's one towards the net. Banks blocks it out to the side. Hallow trying to drop it down. Now Hallow just a high clear. He'll try to read it, but can't quite find the target as it'll bounce up high. This one, though, passed back out, and it's Mellow with another great save to get that one away. It's once again been a lot of Chicago pressure, and finally, it reaches a boiling point. Banks tries to clear it, but it just recenters. Wiko slams it dead center, and Chicago will get first blood for the second game in a row. Hallow on it already. He'll get another clear down that'll force Cloudsy back. Cloudsy now bouncing it down, popped up, but he'll get bumped off it. Wiko trying to slow it down. Now Cloudsy another bang. Zach trying to find Hallow, maybe a little bit strong as Hallow will turn in. He'll get bumped on that one, but he'll still stay with it. Now down off the ceiling, but Zach isn't ready to read it. Maybe expecting a defender to get a touch. And so Havana will survive yet again. It has been so much pressure against the Highflyers, but they managed to really survive to this point. As they aren't getting offense, they aren't really giving themselves a chance in this game, but they're still doing well enough to at least give themselves, or at least keep themselves within reach. As Cloudsy makes another good save there. Now that demo will open up some space. Mellow going for an early shot, but Wiko's up in plenty of time. Now bounce down again. Wiko still waiting on it. He'll go for a 50, fakes around one, pops around another, but it's a piece of it there by the defender. And so it gets cleared for the moment, and Havana once again will survive. Under half this game left to go, still sitting at 1-0 so far. Banks now down the sideline, centering out. Mellow trying to pop it up. Hallow will bang it back in. Hallow around the outside. Banks off the corner yet again. Hallow now trying to drop it down. Cloudsy up the sidewall, playing it forward. There's a 50 down. Now we go around the outside. Mellow is there. Banks in next, but it's 50 out off the sidewall. Mellow now on it yet again, looking for a play, but it'll just drop down to Hallow. Played back forward again. Banks up in the air. That one faked down, but no one's ready to follow it. Havana's attack falls flat. And even though they will repel this one on the other end, they will remain in need of a goal. One that has eluded them since game number 1. No double on that one, though. And Mellow's able to get it by Zach. That'll leave Wiko alone briefly, but he'll get a good catch. Will give his life, but Hallow is back in time. Now waiting on a 50. Will be able to get one down. Trying to go for a catch is Banks, as it'll drop down off the corner. Now off the backboard by Zach as well, but it's cleared downfield. Once again, Havana doing well to sustain themselves in this game, but not doing enough to actually give themselves a chance at it. As Cloudsy, another high clear, trying to chase it. He will get the next beat, but Hallow's sitting plenty far back. Now dropping down again. Mellow looking for a pass, but it's 50'd by Hallow. Banks up the sidewall. That'll beat Wiko, looking for a center. Zach dives in. Cloudsy wins another 50, but Hallow's rotated around. He'll catch it up. He'll catch it. He'll flick it away. Final 30 seconds. Wiko will get beat by that one. Now Zach will get dunked. Bouncing down in front, but Hallow's clean on the read again. Recentered by Cloudsy. Hallow keeps it wide. Zach loses yet another 50. Fake by Cloudsy, but it's saved by Wiko. Hallow gets a long clear. Chicago secure game 3. That goal will be a dagger. 8 seconds left to go. Technically possible, but very far from likely. And so as this time winds down, Chicago will take their second game in a row. They will get a shutout once more, although this time it'll be 3. Wico gonna add one more goal with 1 second left on the clock as the air dribbles up over Banks and kind of 50s it right through him. And that'll secure him another goal. And so we'll play one more kickoff. I believe there'll be a fraction of a second left. It will stay in the air. Is there a chance at another goal? Nope. Cloudsy will catch it out to the side. And so with that, Chicago close out this game. Yet another shutout as they have outscored them 5-0 in the last 2 games. This time the shot's a little bit closer, but it's 10-5, so still double for Chicago. And so as we quickly load on for game number 4, Chicago 1 away from finding a series win and finding the number 1 seed. Let's see if they can get it done, or if Havana can find their momentum back as we load in game number 4. Banks looking for another shot. It'll bounce out off the corner. Now Wico will clear it downfield again. Hallow waiting under it on the catch. Off the backboard again, but Banks able to get up and beat Wico to it. Mello now sending it downfield. Looking for a dribble. Looking for a cut. There's a reset, but Hallow's able to get it out to the side. Wico now down the sideline again, trying to pop it away. Banks, though, good control. That'll get back to midfield again. That flick, though, will beat his teammate as Hallow 1v1. He'll get by him. 1-0. It's First Blood Chicago now for the 3rd time in a row as Hallow gets above the ball and wins the 50 through. 34 seconds in. And it's a 1-goal Inferno advantage. Banks now trying to center it. Mello will drop it in. Hallow looking to get it away. Cloudsy will dunk it to the other side, but Wico's ready for it. Hallow now closing it down. Pass to Wico off the post. Well saved by Mello. Now 50'd off the back wall once again. Mello a little bit less confident on that one, but he has a teammate there to help him out. Wico now a center. Cut off by Mello, but Hallow's there for a save, and I think it might have been high anyway. Wico another one blocked on the goal line. Banks waiting behind it, looking for a shot down. It'll bounce off the back wall. Cloudsy there, but it'll get by him. Hallow will try to close it down, but he doesn't have an angle, and he'll get demoed either way. Banks trying to clear it downfield. He'll chase it himself. He'll jump early. Pop to possess. Pass down, but Mello's too slow. Chicago hold them back once again, and they will maintain their 1-goal lead. Back now downfield, this one towards the back wall, cleared away by Cloudsy. Now dropping down, Cloudsy's shot, saved away by Hallow. Now off the right wall, Mello in the air, makes 2 go, but it's a decent touch there by Chicago. Still Banks trying to set it up, finds Cloudsy, but the shot's high, and Zach's there. Now off the sidewall again, Wico up uncontested, he'll send it downfield. Banks down off the ceiling yet again. This one is out off the sidewall, dropping down, and it'll be Hallow to clear it right back up. Down towards the backboard. Banks is there. He'll slow it down. Now flicked down. Caught by Wico for the moment. Mello diving in, but it's Wico to get it off the backboard once more. Now Zach trying to pop it away again as Havana have done so much better in getting pressure and getting opportunities in this game. But the problem is Chicago are still just surviving it. They are getting the denials on these plays. They are maintaining their lead, and they are still shutting them out. Zach on it once again. Just a catch down off the back wall. No one really near it at all. As that touch by Zach will get it over most of them. Mello now waiting under it. Reset forward, looking for a ground pinch, but Mello's able to get in the way of it. Zach now down off the ceiling again. Caught by Banks. He'll be forced to wait. And Wico's 50 would have been to Hallow, but Hallow gets demoed off the field as Havana turning up the aggression. Mello has the goal. Their first since game 1. Havana are on the board as some demos and bumps open up the lane. And Mello gets it home. 96 seconds left to go. Havana tie up this game, but they still need at least one more to close it out, and it'll be two because Hallow's there again. 2-1 Chicago. It's his second of the game as he just puts power behind it. Knocks it at the top of the net, and no one's able to dive back for it. 80 seconds to go. Pressure back on Havana. And how about that? Hat trick for Hallow. Just ends up in the right spot as Mello tries to clear it, but it bounces right back out off the back wall. Hallow has the read, and he scores again. Now a 2-goal difference here. As it's Cloudsy to clear this one in. Mello look for a bump, won't quite find it. Cloudsy trying to pop it up in the air. It'll be Banks to win it forward. Mello turning in, center down, but Hallow gets it out. Cloudsy now another high pop, but Hallow's ready for it. He'll clear it across. Low boost on Wiko, but he's still there first as we enter the final minute of this game and potentially of this series. Zach now waiting behind it. Another one caught forward. It'll get knocked away though. Cloudsy trying to find the right side. Zach is there. No one's in net, but it's wide. Could have been a free shot, but it won't find its way in. And now it's Cloudsy down on the other end. Beggs trying to drop it down. This one out. Mello will lose the challenge. Final 30 seconds. Still a 2-goal difference until we need to see Havana score here soon. But as the time continues to drop, one more goal will seal the series. Wiko will get this one, just a clear, long downfield with a bump by Zach just to ensure it. And so it'll be 4-1. It'll be a 3-goal lead. And with 20 seconds left to go, they will not be making this comeback. A solid fight here by Havana. They keep it to be pretty close overall, but they cannot take down Chicago. The Inferno only need 4 games. They will claim their 8th win, and they will claim the #1 seed. Of course, we'll ask about an interview. But a big win here as Chicago, as we said, they were heavy favorites in this one, but they show exactly why. They do what they need to do, and they come out with yet another win. So they'll end the season with only 1 loss on the season, and they will end up in that #1, so they'll be waiting on a play-in team. But we are going to have an interview, and so we will be back in just one moment. And we are back with Chicago. Maybe a little bit dicey there, but the next 3 games look pretty good. How's it feel to be now the #1 seed?
That's good. If I did the math right and games go the way we want them to, we won't run into the Chugs until finals. So we'll have Hanoi and Chugs play before they play us. Which, as the game showed, we feel better against Hanoi than we do the Chugs.
Fair. Fair. And I do gotta ask, what changed between game 1 and the rest of it?
Hallow gave us a talking to. He's like, don't jump at the ball if you know you're gonna get beat. And then he's like, just play smart. If if the ball's over your head, don't bother jumping, because that's kind of what we were doing mid our first game, and kind of messed in the butt. And then we stopped doing that, and then locked in. We also just could not let them leave their half until that last game.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't score. And then even in that last game, they got, what, 1? So they got 1 in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's pretty controlled. Now, Kellen's not in the chat. I will still ask the question. Who do you guys think is the biggest threat to your playoff run? Do you think it is Calgary, since you mentioned them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely. Chugs. If the Hydras have figured out their trust issues that they had against us last week, I think that match could be a lot closer. But and if assuming nothing's changed, Chugs.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I mean, it's difficult to predict who you're gonna play at this point. Um, Although I think, yeah, I guess so. Steinhatchee will be one of the teams in the play-in that you're waiting on. I guess the other one will be either Santa Carla, Miami, or Arcadia. So we're still waiting to figure that out. But who do you think you'll play, and then who do you want to play in your quarterfinal?
So we play the winner of.
I
Well,
guess
obviously there's still games to have to
it'll
happen, but
be
it's
it'll
what.
be Steinhatchee, and then they'll play either Miami or Santa Carla.
Miami or Santa Carla. I think the Hurricanes can beat the Freaks. So I'm gonna say we play the Hurricanes, but ideally I'd like to play the Freaks. I think the Hurricanes beat the Freaks, but I want to play the Freaks. I want to play Jam.
Fair, fair, and that's a pretty confident choice. Obviously, they've been pretty good, but I mean, you guys have shown why. And I do think that's about all I have for you guys. So, congratulations on another big win, and good luck in the playoffs.
Thanks for casting. Same to you.
Absolutely. All right, and that will do it then for our third game of the night. We still have two more coming up, as we still have 2 games left to go. And it's one in each league to wrap up the regular season. We hope that you'll continue to tune in and see how those games go, because both of them matter for seeding, and the second one matters for the last playoff team. But we'll get there when we get there. The next game starts at 9:45, so we'll be back live in about 20 minutes. We hope to see you back then. But your final score here, one last time: Chicago 3, Havana 1. And so we'll see you back in just a little bit to wrap up the season over in Pixel.